Okay, I take it again. I am correct in that you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okie doke. All right. So welcome to day 11. Today we're going to do two things. First, we're going to finish the view files for the case study Sports Pro that we've been working on thus far. After we do that, I have emailed you the second hands-on test and the initial seed data. I am in the process. I talked with Evan right before class, and I wrote this and I wrote the seed data, but it's almost like I was drunk or something when I was doing, which is funny because I haven't drank in 40 years. But the point is, with a lot of these, the category that these different things are in is they're just wrong. So I'm going back and manually fixing it up. All right, so it will be correct, and what's on the test here will be correct, just so you know that. All right, so as it says, I'm going to give you today and tomorrow to work on this. All right, and the completed test is due in your GitHub repo by midnight tomorrow. You might be able, it might take you the whole time. I don't know. Then, like it says here on Thursday and Friday, I plan on going over chapter 6, a short chapter about 25 pages long, and it's how to work on routers with controllers and routers. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just do the lecture, even if it's only an hour or so on Thursday. Then on Friday, I'll go over one of the examples at the end of the chapter. If you're here, fine. If you're not a problem anyway. So, all right. So as it says here, your chapters 1 to 5 test is due tomorrow. It's the thing we'll look at in a little bit. Now, I changed this around because a lot of people were having problems, especially with the contact manager program that we went over yesterday. So the only thing that was actually due last Sunday were the chapters 4 and 5 written tests. If you've turned in the contact manager and or you've turned in the tip calculator, that's fine. That's fine. But otherwise, those two are due this week, along with the chapters 1 to 4 for the Sports Pro. All right. And it's amazing. I was talking to Evan today. I had to kind of be careful while I was talking with him because he told me, he called me from his classroom and he said, "Hey, you're on speaker." So I just kiddingly said, "Well, then there'll be no swearing." But just talking to him, I mentioned, I don't know how it was for you guys or for you and the rest of the people in the class, but man, I've never had problems having people understand Git and GitHub like I'm having with the first year people. I mean, I literally went back and did just a 45-minute repo where I went back in and I created, I went and went into the GitHub repo and copied over everything from the semester. Then I went in and created 4 different folders, one for HOTS, one for written tests, one for labs, and one for homework. Filled them up, showed them how they can make changes, showed them, went over into GitHub and made 4 different repositories, showed them how to go from one way to the other, and still nothing but problems. So, like I said, it's been an interesting semester. All right, so with that, let's bring this up. Guess I've got 2 of them up here, so let me get rid of that one. All right, so with what we had gone through yesterday, if I run this, no, it doesn't work, but it's getting there and we had a really good start. All right. And if you remember, I did not even look at it after we finished yesterday, but I do have everything here. This still has to be moved over, and I'm not really concerned about that. But we're going to start today by creating the about and redoing the index. All right. Then from there, we'll just do them in order. Each one of these will basically have 3. These 4 right here will have 3 different view files. One for the add edit, all right, one for the delete, and one for the list. And again, they will almost be the same with each one. All right, so let's just see how it goes. All right, so let me stop the run here. And I'm going to start by, because it's real simple, or I think it is at least, real simple, I'm going to start by going into views, and under views, I'm going to go into my home, And okay, we don't have a privacy anymore. We don't have that. All right. So let's change this. Let's just rename this, and we'll rename it about.cshtml. All right. And let's just go in here and make changes to this particular file. So we'll change it right now. All right. Now, this is going to end up being eventually our admin section. All right. But for now, we'll just leave it at about. That's fine. And I'm going to show what they asked for in the book, and that is a div here with a class of Jumbotron. And then there's just 2 lines in here. I think this had a class of light too. Constantly strives to provide all right, that's it right there. So we've got our view data line, which again, we could have used view bag as well, but we're just setting the title. All right. And then it's going to have that title in there, or should at least. And we've got a Jumbotron. The background color will be secondary. Okay. And I believe that secondary is kind of that medium gray. Top margin of 4. H1, text light, meaning it should be white. About, and a paragraph text light. I'm not going to read that. You can see it. See if it works. Now, there could be a problem here, but we'll see. I'd rather just run it and find it out then. All right. Well, I don't really need that word about there, so I can get rid of that. But the rest of it looks okay. And again, if you want to, please feel free to as far as making this, adding more margin, etc. I don't really care. All right. But let's see. We don't really need that H1 because we have the word about in there. So I'm going to get rid of that. And with the Jumbotron, again, we don't have to. We have a margin top. Let's see. See if that makes it look a little better. I don't know. We'll see. Not much. All right. That's fine though, the way it is. So we've got the about done. What we don't have is when the program first starts running, if you remember, we don't want this. We want all that stuff in there where we're able to choose from whatever it is we're looking for. All right, so let's do that one next. And of course, that's going to be in our index.cshtml that's under here. So we'll do that one next. All right, not real long, but long enough, I guess. All right, right now we've got this and it says homepage. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to get rid of all this and just start all over again. All right, then we're going to break it up into sections. Now, what I'm doing here, just so you know, in fact, you've heard this, would have either from me, Evan, or someone else, that really you should only have one H1 on a page. And even though with what we're doing right here, it wouldn't matter. All right, I'm still going to use and make these H2s. In fact, that's all that's in here. So let's do it like that. All right. And we're going to have a bunch of anchor tags in here. Okay. And let's see. I think we were supposed to make all these active, and I didn't do that, but I believe we were supposed to. Now we have this, we have it for, basically we want to do the same thing and put in here product, technician, customer, incident, and registration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and put it in there a bunch of times. So after product, we have technician. And after technicians, we have customers. And I think I have one too many in here, because the only other thing that we have in here is incidents. Now we're not done yet. All right. What I mean is we're going to make one more thing in here with our technician stuff, but we're almost done. I just want to see what it looks like. Because now we should have some actual physical stuff in here. There we go. All right. Now that doesn't really look the way I want it to look, but it's getting. You got a div class equal list group, ASP controller product, ASP action list, class equal list group item. All right, maybe it doesn't even like the active, so I'm going to try removing that to see if that makes it look a little nicer. But we manage products, manage technicians, manage customers, and manage incidents. And then we're going to add another div that's going to look pretty similar. But first, let's put another H2 in here. And this is just going to say technicians. And again, we'll put another div in here. And I'm just going to steal one of these and make some changes to it. All right, so this is, and this will be update incidents. Like that. Well, let me stop the run, because I should have anyway. And let me save this. We'll run it, take a quick look. And it looks a little better. All right. I do get the active when I put my mouse over it, but for some reason, when I tried adding the active, you could see when I did that. know if you had a chance to put all that in or not. All right, but I'll leave that up there for just a moment. So now we've got done our about and we've got our index done. All right. So it's time to work with the product stuff. Am I right in assuming you're all caught up?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you.
Right. What I did yesterday, probably haven't done it yet, but it's no biggie. I just went in and I added empty folders under views for customer, incident, product, and technician. All right, so you will have to do that eventually, but I'm just going to go into the product one right now. And again, the order, the order of this doesn't matter. So let's add a view. It'll be a view razor, and it's just going to be delete.cshtml. And as always, we'll start by getting rid of the garbage that's there. This is going to work with just a product. All right. Good one to start with because it's only about 15 lines long. So and again, that's everything. And we're basically going to set this up almost identically. In fact, I think I will do some copy and paste in here today. We'll see. But that should be it. Let me do a file, save all. All right. This isn't, I guess this isn't going to work yet. Be right there we go. So we'll have to do that one first. Or next, doesn't matter. It's a little longer. It's about 45 lines. And the add edit is about the same. So you got this?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay. All right, then let's come into product and let's add another view, and that will be our list.cshtml. All right. Now, this is a list of products, so that's the way we need to put it here. And we need a couple empty ones here for the stuff that we'll add at the end. All right. Then we'll do our T body, and then we will add a button at the bottom to allow us to add a new product. So again, that's everything then in the head. Let's put in the body. And right underneath our table, one last line. All right. Should be okay. I don't think I've made any typing errors, but let's quickly run it. We'll come right back to it. And there it is. Okay. Now I'm not going to actually delete one, but if I do click delete, it does come back and say, do you want to delete it? All right, that's great. So all that's working so far. And let me go back just in case you do need it. So that's everything. Hopefully I'm showing enough that
Okay, I've got that. I've got
all
this
right.
page.
All right, sounds good. So the only one we have left then is the add edit. So again, I'm going to come into product, add another view, eraser view empty, and it will be add edit.cshtml. Again, I'll get rid of the garbage at the top. And this is going to allow us to add or edit just an individual product. So we're adding one new one, or we are updating an existing one. So you should know this already, or at least it should make sense to you, that that's either going to have in it add product or edit product. All right. And we want, let's see, one of these for code, one of these for name, one of these for yearly price, one of these for release date. So again, I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to copy this. All right. So we've got our product code, and the next one will be name. And that'll be name 2. All right. Next, we have yearly price. And remember, since that's just a label right here, we can put a space there if we want. And we want release date. All right. Not too much to go. Where again, and it doesn't matter. We could put this at the top, we could put it at the bottom, but we're going to bring in that hidden field with our product ID in it. All right. And then we'll add a button. So that's all that's left in here. All right. Again, let me just very quickly do a save all and bring this up and see if it works before we do go too far with it. So again, manage products, edit. There it is. All right. This was set for us. All right. No, I think we that wasn't set for us. I think we put that in there. I don't really remember, but let's say that we just want to change this to 1.1 as an example. All right. It changed it, and I'm going to just change it back again to 1.0. All right. So all of that appears to be working. So in other words, out of here, we've got the product stuff is all done. Questions, problems with anything? That back here is,
Still testing mine through. I think mine's all right though.
yeah.
Yeah, mine looks good.
Good. All right, so we've got the ones done then for the product, and really doesn't matter, what we put in here next. Okay, so product's done. Right up above it, I'll just do the incident. That's fine. In fact, I'm going to close these. Again, we could do, I'm just so tired of doing copying and pasting and then forgetting to make a change. So, all right, let's do the, and actually, let's just do them in order. Remember, in the order it was product, then it was technician. So let's do technician next. All right, and let's do the edit first so we can actually just check everything and make sure that that's working. This is going to, again, allow us to either add or edit, whoops, an existing technician. Don't need that spacing there. All right, and we have in here name, email, and phone. So I'm going to again copy this, put it in there 3 times. So again, after name, we've got email, and phone. All right, then we've got our hidden field again, like we had before. And we've got our button. And our link button. And again, let's do a file save all and just very quickly run it. I'll come right back to it. Oh, this is, yeah, I thought this was list we're working on, isn't it? Oh, you know what I did? This is, yeah, this is add edit. Okay, should have done list first, but that's okay. So save all and let me know once you've got that.
I've got it.
All righty. Then let's jump over and do list. And again, every time we're doing a list, it's a list of product, or in this case, a list of technician. All right, there's our head. So again, we need the body, and then we need to add our link that looks like a button that allows us to add a technician. So we move this up. Oh, what doesn't it like here? That should be a little t. Oh, what doesn't it like? Does not exist in the current context because I didn't spell it there with technician. There we go. All right, something's funky, so let's fix it. Oh, there's a minus sign in there. All right, getting there. There you go. And the next one, so I can copy it, it's the same thing, but instead of edit, it's delete. All right. And then finally, after our table, what did I do there? All right. Let me know when you got all that, please.
I've got it.
And then finally for this one, let's also do a delete. Close that. And again, if you could let me know when you're done with that.
Okay, I'm done.
All right, let's save all. See what the technician looks like now. There they are. Edit. Make that a 4 for now, just so we got something in there. Okay, it took it, send it back again. I'm not going to physically delete it, but if I wanted to now, there we go. And I have really no doubt that that's going to work. All right. And hopefully when you checked yours, it all worked as well.
Yes, mine's good.
Good. All right. So let's do, it doesn't really again matter, I guess, next. We can do the customer because that was the next one in here. So let me stop the run. And again, I'm going to close all these. All right, close that and come in under customer. Let's just do list first. Okay, so that is the head section. And here we've got, whoops, dot first name with a space, because that's the way we're told to put it, and then customer dot last name. Okay. And again, then at the very bottom, underneath the earning table, we're going to have set it up so you can add a customer. All right. And again, if you let me know when you're done, then we'll do the add edit.
Okay, mine looks good now.
Okay. Again, it's not done yet, but let's see if it brings up the customer screen. Looks like it does. Email was not mandatory there, so that's why that's okay. All right, I'm not going to edit or delete it yet, of course, because we haven't written those. So let's go do that now. Let's add our add edit.cshtml. Now remember when we list this out, I believe we want the first name followed immediately by the last name. So there is a little bit of finagling or whatever you call it in here with that. So and I'm going to take this div and I'm going to copy it because right under the first name, I want to put in the last name. So All right. And then we have the address, the city, the state, the postal code. This is kind of the big one here as far as what we have to type in. If you don't mind, let's take a break for 10 minutes. Let's come back at 1:15. All right. It wears
Okay,
on you a
sounds
little
good.
bit after a while. So see you at 1:15.
See you then.
All right, it's 1:15. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this and copy it like we just did to make sure I got it. And I'm going to paste it in 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I've got last name in there a bunch of times, but I've got first name and last name. And then the next thing should be address. Oops. And after address, we have city. And then we have state. And then we have postal code. All right, we're getting there. This one's a little longer, like I said. The next thing we want to do is the country, and that's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to literally key that one in. But then when we get done, I'm going to copy this in there 2 more times, once for email and once for phone number. All right, so I am just going to grab this for now and just copy it to the clipboard. All right, okay. And now I'm going to come in here. And again, we're going to worry right now about country. And the label pretty much looks the same, I believe. All right, but it's in here where this is going to change now. So it's pretty dumb. Yeah. Whoa. All right. Give you a second to put that one in and you let me know when you're done. And then we'll copy in the next three and just change them to the next two, I should say, email and phone number. And then we're almost finished, just 4 or 5 more lines after that.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So I just copied it in 2 more times here. And this one is going to be email. I notice I've got a typo. Postal code, not postal Cody. And under email is phone. All right. But we need our hidden field. And finally, our button. Oh, what did I screw up here? Type equals. It was nice. All right. Don't have my beginning tag on there either. All right, so button type equals submit. Class BTN primary, that'll be save. And our button. And that's it for that one. And that one's a little quirky because since there's so many fields, when we have it for a small device, we really cut down the size. All right.
I'm good to go.
Okay, and the last one then is our delete. And let me know when you're done with that. Now we can test the customer, and then we've got just the incidents left.
I'm ready to go.
Good. All right. Let's try Gonzalo here. Let's give him an email address. Remember that's, oh, that looks pretty bad, but I guess that's the way it's got to be. So let's give him an email. Country field is required. Oh, I'm going to run into that same doggone thing. And we may be able to fill it out, or figure it out rather, by just adding one thing in here. And that is, I'm going to go back to my models, and I'm going to go back to the country table. And we've got here required. Yeah, okay. That's the name. But I'm going to try to put a validate never in here and see if that fixes it. Oh, it doesn't seem to like that either. Let's see. All right. I don't know if that'll fix it or not. No idea, but I'm going to try it. Here, there, here. And let's run it again. All right, it was United States also, so let's just change. I'm just going to move it to Ukraine, which is the one above it. No, it's still saying that it's required, which means one of two things. I may have to do another migration to get that to take. All right, because we have changed the schema, or it's something else. All right, I promise you, I will look at that before tomorrow and see if I can figure out what the problem is. Cancel, we get back. Delete. Oh, that isn't good. I think we needed that. All right, well, first time we've run into problems today. So that isn't good, but I want to finish up the last one. So like I said, I'll go back and look at all these. If I have to, I'll compare what I did to what the author did, because they're always the source in the end. So all right. So the only one that's left then is incident. So let's go into incident and let's add a new view into there. Let's just start with let's delete. Oops, already had that. Why I did that, I don't know. Okay. All right, if you let me know when you've got that one done.
I'm done.
Okay. Part of the problem, I remember jacking around with this before, but I'm just wondering with what we just did with the customer. I don't know, I'll play with it later. I don't want to get us behind. So we've got the incident delete. Let's do the list. Let's put in the head. And remember, the title we're getting from the incident table, the customer's full name we're getting from the customer table. Then we have to go over to the product table to get the name. And again, the date opened was part of this. And copy this for the delete. Bottom, we want to be able to add an incident. Well, again, if you let me know when you're done, then we'll do the add edit, and that'll be it for this. Like I said, I'll go back and double check. I'll test everything. And if I find what my errors are, I'll let everybody know. So.
I've actually had an error come up that hasn't come up before.
Okay.
It's underlining model in the for each statement. And it says for each statement cannot operate on variables of type incident because incident does not contain a public instance or extension definition for get enumerator. Never mind, I got it. I just looked at your first line and I had mine switched. In the first line of this page, I had incident and then list instead of list and then incident.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right, then let's write the last one. This will be our add edit.cs HTML. All right, I'm gonna stop right there and make sure you can catch up. Again, this is, for lack of better words, this is kind of the wild card one where we're grabbing stuff from different tables. So this one actually is the longest, probably the longest one writing. It's about 70 lines.
I think I'm good so far.
All righty. Think I can copy all this. All right, and then start making changes. So I don't think I made any typos in there. So that's the second one.
Okay, I think I've got that one.
Ready? Now this is going to change. This is a description which, at least conceivably could be pretty big. So instead of a input there, we're going to make a text area. Like that. All right. It already looks a little funky, so. All right, let's see if we can clean this up. So, all right, select mission ID, items, add sign, add new, select list, view big, technicians, technician ID, name, model technician ID .toString. That's now like that. Option value equal assigned technician to. All right, what do we got here? I think the problem is I don't have my ending select in here. Still complaining, so let's see. Missing close angle for this. That isn't true because it's right here. What we're doing here, just so you know, is we're basically building a select list on the fly. All right, so we're going to be able to come in here, and once we get an incident, we want to be able to assign it to a technician right away. The way that we're building this too is this is where we're grabbing the information from. All right, and we're going to be in that. And I'm looking at it, I'm looking at my code that had been written earlier, and I've got, it looks virtually the same right there. We're not done. Got a little bit more to go, but we got to go work our way through this. So it's not recognizing that as being the end of this select, and that's why I think it's blowing up right there. And for this, it's recognizing the end as being here, but there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I could put that in the single quotes, but I don't think it'll like that either. fix that. Being better. Too many characters, yeah. See, that's the problem. In C sharp, if you put a single quote in, it's a character literal. That's where we're getting those errors. I can't leave that blank. That doesn't make any sense. To do that and that. That doesn't make sense. It's not going to be able to understand what we're doing. Yeah, see what happens. You can see what happens as soon as I put that in. Well, we're not going to be able to test this one, but I'll tell you what, I want to go on. And again, what I will do is any mistakes in here that I find on the email I send out later today, I'll let you know what those mistakes are. And I apologize. I'd ran this before and I thought that it worked just fine. But as you can see, it doesn't. So I'm going to grab this right here and I'm going to go down to the bottom of that div. I'm going to paste one of these in. Let me move this over. All right. So this is the date opened. It's going to give me a ton of errors in here now. That ticks me off. And I'll tell you what we'll do for right now. This is a kludge, but it's better than doing nothing. And that is, I'm going to take this whole div right here and comment it out. So I'll do it this way. So I'm going to do that. Okay, just because, like I said, I don't want it to. It's not going to be correct now, but at least it's not terrible either as far as what's in here. So. And now the next one is virtually this because we've got a date opened and a date closed. And then finally our button. Link. Did I spell type wrong? That's it for that one. Like I said, it is my responsibility to fix this and let everybody know what it is. Now, we're not going to test this one because there's errors in it. All right. But the good news is, after hopefully finding out the error in customer and the error in this one, hopefully we're done. And so what I want to do, it's 2:00, but rather than take a break, I'm going to spend about 15 minutes going over the test with you. All right. And then I'm just going to, that'll be it for the period today. So let me bring that up. I'll leave this up here because as soon as I'm done today, I'm going to immediately go in and look at that. So let's see. All right. So let's start with the test itself, which is right here. Get rid of that. All right. So as it says, complete the following test and save it to your GitHub repo as hot2. Notice what it says on there. Please take nothing for granted and ask questions if as necessary. So we are going to be creating, I sent you, when I sent you the stuff this semester, the packet that had all the information, and there was this database in here, but I'm modifying it. That's why for when we start, we're only going to put in a couple and we will put in our categories. So as it says, what we want to do is have this very similar to what you just did. But the only one that's going to be working after this test are products. All right. So taking it from the top, then you want to be able to show current products. That's kind of going to be a list method ordered by product name. All right. Then you should be able to add new products, and that'll, of course, add them both to the application itself and to the database. Update existing products, again, both to the application and to the database, and delete existing products, both from the application and from the database. So I gave you the schema for two tables right here. The first table will be products, and it will have 5 products in it. We'll look at it in just a minute. All right. I did have all the full name on here. So product ID, product name. Each product will have a short description and a long description. We may not even use those. We will use the images because it's kind of nice when you bring up a product to have a picture of the product. You won't have those yet, but you will probably by the next test. All right. Then a product price, which as it says should default to 0.00, and a product quantity, which should default to 0. Then we have a categories. Again, this is the schema for categories. There's a category ID, which is an int, and a category name, which is a string. Now, the other thing I sent you today was this. So these are our 5 products for right now. All right, so this is our seed data. This is what's going to go into your bike shop context.cs file. All right, as far as your seed data. So notice there are 5 products, ID1, ID2, ID3, ID4, and ID5. Each product has a name, which is required. For right now, we're keeping the description short, the description long, and the image. We're just setting them all up to the empty string. All right. Now we've got our price, our quantity, and the category that these go with. So that's going to be the 5 that are right there. And then we've got our 6 categories. Category 1 is wheels, category 2 is bikes, category 3 is clothing, category 4 is components, category 5 is car racks, and category 6 is accessories. And I hope maybe you heard me say this at the beginning of the period, maybe you did not, I don't know. But when I was setting this up, the category IDs that are in here, they typically don't go. For instance, there are 2 wheels in here, Aeroflow ATB wheels and Cosmic Elite Road Warrior wheels. Each one of those should be category ID 1, meaning have been wheels. All right. They're not right now. So I have to clean that up. If you put it in the way I'm showing it to you, they will be in the right category. All right. So I put mock-ups in here of what we're looking for. This is what your opening screen should look like. All right. So as of right now, if you want, you can go in and you can add up here products, categories, vendors, because we're going to do that in the next test. All right. So in other words, you should be able to get to manage these management things from either up here or here. If you say, heck with it, I'll just do it next test, Heath, that's totally fine. But these should all be set up. And again, the only one that's going to work after this test is the first one. So this is your opening screen. We are not going to use privacy in here. Eventually, we'll set that equal to something else. So you can just, for now, just leave it the way it is. All right. So again, this is your opening screen. So in other words, this is the equivalent of your home controller's index page. All right. Next, once you click Manage Products, this is what should come up then. Now, because again, this is screwed up for the components. Rather than components, accessories, accessories, if you set it up the way I showed you with the seed data, this will now say wheels, components, accessories. It's not really that big a thing. We'll eventually clean it all up. The point is for our product manager here, and then you'd probably guess taking a look here, there's 3 CRUD operations that we're going to look at on the next 3 screens. You should be able to edit an existing product, delete an existing product, or add a new product. All right. So again, this is our list.cshtml basically. All right, this will be our add edit where we're doing an add in here. And notice where it says for category, select the category. Again, the idea is you should have a drop down list in there with the 6 categories in it. All right. Then next, this is our edit. And again, it's screwed up because wheels should not say component. That should say wheels in here. So that's if you press the edit button. All right. And then finally for delete, it looks very similar to the way we've been deleting. So I'm assuming that we chose the first one, which was Aeroflow ATB wheels. You did that, and basically, as it says right here, the delete should work. All right. Now, here's probably the most important page because it's got the rubric in it. Please don't just start on this without taking a good look at it. All right. You may even want to keep the rubric page up. I don't know. But notice you get a point each for bringing in your Microsoft.Entity Framework Core.Tools and your Microsoft.Entity Framework Core.SQL Server. All right. Then update your app settings.json file to add a connection string. We're going to call the database BikeShopDB for Bike Shop database, and call your context file Bike Shop context. That is 6 points. Now, where it says here, update this to enable dependency injection, what that is, if you remember when we went into our program.cs file, added that build statement in there with the updates or whatever it was, the server. In other words, bring up the one from yesterday. So we want to come in here and do this. Again, yours won't say contact context. Yours will say bike shop context. But where we're talking about enabling dependency injection, that's what that's doing right there. Also, you're probably going to want to go in and add this stuff as well. All right. The idea is probably going to be in there, but you are going to do a slug. Okay. And I mentioned that at the end of the test directions here. All right. Next, create the product model rather using the specs shown on the first page. So I gave you the name, the schema basically. I gave you the name of the fields to use and the types. Notice that the product name, the product price, and the product quantity are required, which means when you put them in, use the required and put your own customized error messages in there. It can be as simple as please select product name, please select product price, please select product quantity. That's fine. In addition, you will have range decorators, one for product price, which should be between $1 and $100,000, and one for product quantity, which again should be between 1 and 1,000. And really, when you think about it, this would actually have been better as 0. Because what if you're totally sold out of something? So why don't we make that 0 instead of 1? If you do make it 1, I wouldn't take off for that. All right. Okay. Next, create the bike shop context file, including adding the DB set and the seed data. You're doing this twice because when we attempted to do this with the movies thing, we had a problem. So what I want you to do is just put in your, your seed data for your products table. All right. Now, what that means is where you've got in there, where you put in the category stuff, you'll probably not want to put that, or you'll want to comment that out. Okay. Then do an add migration. All right. Take a screenshot of your migration to make sure that it worked. And say where it says save that as part of the repo, just create an images folder and throw it in there. Then perform a successful update database and do the same thing again. Take a screenshot. So you notice that's 5, 10. And again, you'll do it down later. That's 15, 20 points. All right. You can create a product controller then with a list.cshtml and add edit.cshtml and a delete.cshtml methods. Now, when it says create these 10 points, you don't get 10 points if you have 3 empty files, but you've created the files. All right, and hopefully that makes sense to everybody. You literally do have to go in there and put the code in, but it's going to be very, very, very similar to what we just looked at. This program is very similar to what we just finished or almost finished, all right, with Sports Pro and the products part. Yeah, and we're going to keep working on it. We'll add more with the next test, more with the test after that, etc. All right. Then create a new product folder under the view menu and add a list.cshtml. All right. Add a, know what it says. Okay, it says create a product controller. That product controller basically should have that stuff in it. And that should call these right here. All right. Again, it's not that different from what we just did. If either I explained it poorly or it doesn't make sense, or if you start working on it and it doesn't make sense, let me know. All right. Okay. Add a new categories model with the specs. In other words, category name is required with an associated error message. So in English, what I'm telling you to do is when you first come in and you do this, have just this stuff in there, okay? Not the category name, just this stuff, all right? When you add your seed data, don't put in the category ID. Leave that off for each one of these or comment it out, whatever you want to do, all right? Then go in and do your migration, your add migration initial setup, and then do your update database. All right. Then when you come back, you will do another add migration where you will add this. So that means you're going to add things twice on two different occasions to your bike shop context.cs file. I don't want you to do this as one big operation because I want to make sure that you have to go in there and you have the ability to do multiple migrations on the same database. All right. So again, after you do that, update the context file, add the DB set for categories, add the seed data, update the product model to go back and add that category ID, perform a second add migration, save it that it worked, take a screenshot, perform another update database, save it with another screenshot. Finally, as it says in 15 and 16, add the code to make the URLs lowercase and add a dash at the end, very similar to what we've done in other applications. Finally, add a slug. All right, so the slug, as it says, should, for example, for the product, should have the name of the product, all right, and be added to the end of the URL. Finally, and I mentioned this earlier, remember to update the default routing pattern to reflect the slug. All right. Now, I went through that quickly. I get it. And did I screw it up? I hope not. Is there anything I just went over, Grant, that didn't make sense?
No, I think it does. Could you go over just the updating the categories again, like the two
Yes.
migrations? Thanks.
Yes. So what you will want to do is you will first want to come in here and literally set this up exactly like this. All right. So this will be, when we start, this is what will be in your product.cs file right there. All right. After you do that, then you will go in and you can add the seed data. And when you add that seed data, only add that for each one. Don't add a category ID, or if you want to add the category ID, take everything that's in blue and comment it out. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, then add your migration and do your update database. And when both occasions, when you get them done and you get them working, take a picture of your screen by hitting your print screen key and then just save it, bring it up in Paint and save it. All right. And if you have problems with that, let me know. Okay. Then eventually what you'll want to do is you will want to go back into here and you will want to add another table. So this is it for that second table. You can add that table. That table, again, will have this seed data that's right here. All right. But when you add that, you'll want to go back into here. And like we just did, you'll want to add a foreign key and a navigation property, like we just did in the project we worked on. After you do that, you'll also want to go back in to here. And if you didn't add those to begin with, you'll have to add them. Or if you added them but commented out, you want to uncomment them. Then you want to run a second migration and a second update database. Did that help? Does it make sense now?
Yeah, I think that cleared up for me. Thank you.
Okay. All right. No, and I'm sorry if it's a little bit confusing. I take full blame. If anybody goes through this test and something doesn't make sense, please email me right away and ask me. All right. So again, the rest of the period today, I thought you'd have more time than this, but you've got an hour and a half today, and you've got period tomorrow. I will be online for the entire period tomorrow. All right. So if anybody has any questions, please get a hold of me right away and let me know. All right. Other than that, that's all I had for today. All right. So good luck. I will talk to you then on Thursday.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.